That was fun to watch everything fall back down. Alright, we are back. It is after good old Christmas. And I am exhausted. I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired. I have a cup of hot coffee, actually. The only reason why I'm drinking coffee is it has, oh, I forget what, Snickers, I think? Snickers creamer in it. Someone had brought a bunch of flavored creamers that I am very much addicted to, because the only way I'll drink coffee is if it's extremely sweetened and more like a treat than anything else. Oh, dude in the bucket, you are making a mess. I hope everyone had a great Christmas. I had a fantastic one. So, I haven't had Christmas with extended family in 3 years due to COVID precautions. Because my family, my mom is delicate, and to be honest, I am too. I was born with some lung issues that if I was to get COVID, it'd be bad. But anyway, my mom is getting up there in years. She's nearing 80, physically and not doing the greatest. She just keeps getting sick, and before really recovering from getting well from the last time she was sick, she just was so desperate to have a Christmas with everybody. And my mom comes from a very large family. She's got two biological sons, but one's alive, and he had a passel of children. I didn't get it in the bucket. I'm trying to wait for the smoke to come out. Alright, we'll set that there. Anyway, so he had a passel of children, and those passel of children had children, and then plus my mom adopted a few children, me included, and so it's a huge chunk of us, and the grandchildren started to have great grandbabies, and it's just the family's huge. So this year mom asked everybody to come home, which luckily everybody lives in the same state, just spread out in the state, as happens in Minnesota. It seems like that's what the thing is in Minnesotans. True Minnesotans never leave the state, they just spread out to uninhabited little tiny towns. Anyway, so we were supposed to have 35 people, and I was extremely nervous because I know that a big chunk of the family doesn't care nor adhere to any kind of COVID safety. They are whatever, and it upsets me, not that about themselves, because, you know, they're grown people. If they want to get sick, they can get sick. It's just, please be safe for Grandma, because Grandma's precious, and she spent a lot of effort and time doing Christmas for us. She is a fantastic cook, guys. She is your traditional home cooking grandma with everything, and so she made turkey and ham. She makes these special sweet corn that's cooked it's actually baked in the oven, and we freeze it, but it's made with, like, I don't know, 10 pounds of butter and sugar, real sugar, no sugar substitute, and it makes it into it stays sugary. And it's almost like a cream corn, I guess, really. But it stays whole, but it's so much butter and sugar that it's creamy. So she makes that. And, I mean, if you don't put on 20 pounds when you come here and eat, then you didn't really eat. Anyway, so she made so much food. But what was supposed to be about 40 people, from one thing or... Oh, no! Come back! Come back! Sorry, you're not supposed to be in the fire. Supposed to be in the fire. Anyway, with only about half of them showed, and I guess I'm pretty happy with those numbers showing, but her heart was still broken. But the people that couldn't come got COVID, and they got it so badly that they had to go to the hospital. It didn't help that one of the families, the biggest family, that's a family of 12, they got really sick. She's pregnant with their second biological son, but they also are a big family on adoption. I think I've talked about them before. They've been married for a while, but they were so desperately trying to have children, and she couldn't conceive and carry. And I think it sounded like it was a gun, I guess. Anyway, she tried so hard to conceive, and it wasn't happening. And so they took a page out of my mom's book and adopted a passel of children. And then right after they got custody of 4 children, she became pregnant with her first, and then shortly thereafter became pregnant with her second, which the second was not planned. They thought the first was a miracle. But anyway, so she's expecting her second, and COVID hits pregnant women really hard for reasons. I don't know what the reasons are, but for reasons. And, yeah, so she couldn't come, and that was actually, as my mother would never admit it, but those were the ones that she was really, really hoping would come, because she hasn't seen her great-grandbabies, the biological nor the adopted, at all. She hasn't got to meet them. So, she was pretty heartbroken about that. And a couple of the other grandchildren said that they would come, and then didn't bother to call to say that they weren't coming. Yeah. Anyway, but all in all, I had a fantastic Christmas. It was a lot of work. Yeah, it's hard to prep for that many people. She cooked a feast. We actually ended up walking a lot of food and pies to neighbors around us. Being like, please take this. I don't need to eat all of this pie. Please. And in fact, the family of 12, we sent a huge platter of food home with their dad. Because that was the big chunk of the family we were expecting. So, all in all. But Mom is exhausted and actually kind of sick. But not, I don't think, with anything like COVID related. I think she just wore herself out. Which if I'm being honest, I was expecting. I also am expecting us to get sick because we have lived in a bubble. Safely away from large groups of people for 3 years. So, but I don't know. I think Mom felt that if she didn't do this now, that she may not get to do it again, because she's, I don't know, I think all of these illnesses that she's been dealing with has scared her, and the thing is talking to her though, I don't think she fears death. I think she just fears missing out on the grandbabies and all the kids. I think that's the biggest, which I guess is pretty telling of my mom. This. I'm gonna take my drink of my coffee. I haven't had coffee in so long because I never buy the special flavored creamers for myself because they're so not healthy for you. I'm not diabetic, but I do live like I'm diabetic because both my parents are, and I guess it's just to be precautious. Caution. Words hard. Today all I've done is sleep. I am not gonna lie. I had plans for today. I wanted to record so many games. I have on my little tablet here, I have 42 games in total that I really want to play for the channel. Hopefully, like, soon. Games that have been updated and I kept meaning to play, or older games that I know that the channel would like. Also mixed in with games that developers had gifted and asked for me to play. And some of them, they asked me to play months ago, but they weren't quite ready to be played on their debut because they just did not play well. And I don't, right or wrong, I don't know what to do about that, but if they're really, really bad, but I think the idea of the game is good, like, it's unique, I won't necessarily show the game in the way that it was first given to me. I'll wait until they do an update. Because I don't want to tarnish the game and make people think that it's a shitty game, when really it just needs a lot of work. And I think that happens with a lot of indie games. And I know some people will argue and say that, well, you need to show the game at the state that the developer gave it to you so they know what to fix. And I'm like, nah, I mean, I know that they've given it to other people to play. I guess on the other hand, too, that one part that I am torn about is that, and I've seen enough of the videos, and I'm sure you have, people sometimes just like to rip apart a game just for the sake of ripping part of the game for the views. And I want to be supportive of developers. I never want to tear apart their hard work because I know how much work goes into it, and I know as an artist, when you create something, you put your soul into it, or at least you should. And a lot of these games that are on hold are games that you can tell have been, they're, you know, the developer has put all that they could into it. And, so anyway, I try my best to show the game in the best light that I can, while still being honest about it. Now, if there's a game that has been popped out so fast from the developer because they don't care about making money, they only care about the bucks, which there is a few of those, I will definitely talk about them. Like just recently, there is Trader Life Sim 2 that came out. That developer has a bit of a habit of popping out games, supporting it for a very short period of time, and then walking away from it. And yeah, so it's a bit of a problem for me. I also did record a couple days ago, I recorded Gas Station Simulator 2 for Christmas, because they had a Christmas update, but I have to come back to it, because whatever update they did broke the game, in that it is so laggy and unplayable, that again, I don't want to show it in the worst light possible, so I'm just kind of waiting. Alright, I think I've chatted your ears off. I don't... Nothing else is going on. Other than my huge game list to play, and instead I just slept all day. I know what had happened was, the Christmas Eve, I had to work that night, and I worked, from, the longest shift I ever had, but that's because no one wanted to work, which, fair enough. I worked from 8 o'clock until about 4 o'clock in the morning, with some breaks in between. And I work from home, so it's not like it's a hardship, and I don't have any children. I'm single at the moment, so it's not a big deal for me. The only big deal was I knew that I needed to get up somewhat early in the morning to help my mom with the cooking. And, oh, yeah. That night I took a sleeping pill. It's a prescribed medication that, my problem is not sleeping. I do terrific once I'm asleep, clearly. My problem is going to sleep. I have a hell of a time shutting my brain off, because my brain is loud and stupid and thinks about the shittiest things right when I want to go to sleep. So, the medication I'm on, well, it puts me to sleep. It makes me really, really sleepy. And I can't, like, fight it. I just go to sleep. Which I took it on purpose for that reason. And by my math, I should have gotten 6 hours of sleep. And I didn't. And I have to have at least 6 hours of sleep with that medication. Or else I don't function. Or well, I guess it's just, my body just says go back to sleep. and I was trying really, really hard. So today, the day after Christmas, I didn't go to sleep that night because I also worked. And so this is the day after Christmas. And finally when I went to sleep after working, I think I slept about 10 hours. And then I got up and was trying to do stuff for all the jobs. Because also, again, I say it every time, but as a graphic designer, freelance graphic designer, there's always those projects as well. So I had some of those to do, and I was trying so hard to get through those. And I had contacted the client, and the client hadn't got back to me. So I was like, alright, I'm just gonna go lay down. Because I'm still fuzzy in the head. I went and laid down, and then I slept for another 6 hours. And when I woke up, I was like, shit. On the plus side, the client still hasn't reached out to me, so... problem? So I don't feel bad about going to sleep in the sense that all the immediate tasks weren't, the time-sensitive projects were not going to pay the price. But for YouTube, I'm so sorry. I had a whole list of videos and I was excited to use this day for that. Nope. Then I slept all day. And both dogs were so good. They slept with me. I imagine they were probably pretty exhausted too, because being around that many people is not a norm for me. One of my sisters brought, our sister-in-law, excuse me, brought a puppy. She brought a puppy. It was a Labradoodle, and it was only 9 weeks old or 8 weeks old. The most well-behaved puppy I ever met in my life. Probably because nobody let it down. I think the most trouble it got was it was around my dogs, and my dogs have the amount of toys that you would think a toddler would have. They just have tons of toys. And so he got into the toys, which was fine. I was okay with that. Any toys that he made a chew through was fine because, you know, my dogs have so many. And they don't know it, but there's more in the closet that I haven't given to them. That anytime they fall in love with the toy, I buy multiples of it. So I can just easily exchange them out. My Kenzie, who is a mutt, she's a terrier Shih Tzu Yorkie. But pure mutt. Pure mutt. She's got the fur of a terrier, a face of a Shih Tzu. The ears of a Yorkie. Anyway, my much of a puppy. She really falls in love with her toys. Very much so. It's like her comfort. So anytime one gets so... But she's also destructive. And so if anyone ever gets destroyed, and I can't sew it and fix it anymore, then I will... I'll replace it for her. My poor Berbers. Anyway, so the puppy found some of the toys, and he was mostly okay with those. He didn't really destroy anything. Just chewed on, like, everything. Which, again, I'm fine with. I'd rather chew on that. But he found the Christmas tree, where, actually, coincidentally, the toys are also nearby. And he saw, one of the dangling Christmas bulbs. And he went to go bite it. And luckily enough, he was caught, and we told him no. And his little tail went down, and then he looked at us like, sorry, it looked shiny, I wanted to bite it. And I was like, yeah, I know, intrusive thoughts, it's okay, buddy. And then he left it alone, never touched it after that. So, super good puppy. But later I found my nephews had him cornered, were like, out of no reason, we're like, bad dog. And they were kind of saying in a cute way, but I had to tell him to stop because I'm like, you're going to confuse him. He's not being a bad dog. He's just being cute. But if you could see the look on the poor dog's face, the poor dog is like, why am I being told I'm bad? I haven't done anything. So anyway, I'm pretty sure he didn't get into that much trouble because no one left him alone for more than a second. And my dogs, for the most part, are fine, except for Bella, who is the 5-pound Papillon, a little Chihuahua Papillon. She likes to try to establish that she's the dominant dog. And so she did, do the bark at it. It was like, I'm the alpha dog, but luckily the puppy didn't care enough to do anything about it. It was just like, yeah, whatever. Lucky for Bella. We are a family of animal lovers, so usually there is always some dog coming to visit, except for my brothers are huge on, they're not little dog people, they are big dog people. And so, anytime they see my dog, they always laugh, but they do say she's fierce. She's got a fierce dog. But she also thinks everyone's been put on the planet to pet her, so for the most part, she's very friendly with people. The only thing is that she'll go after the dogs, and luckily my brothers have all chosen big goofballs because they either like just push her out of the way, like they'll just body push her, and my dog is like, "What? I am the dominant dog," and they just ignore her or push her out of the way. The one dog did kind of sit on her to make her shut up. She's got that, you know, she's got that little dog yip. That bark. But yeah, so anyway. And from my biological family, my Aunt Patty came. And there's a whole story, I guess, with my biological family that one day I'll get into, but my Aunt Patty has always lived nearby, and I know that she's always loved me, even if she wasn't very, I don't want to put her in a bad light. I just don't think she knew how to handle my dad, who had substance abuse problems, and so when it started to unravel for the family and he was losing custody, I don't think any of them knew how to handle the situation in any way, so which caused some family issues. But when my grandparents were alive, they had begged my family who adopted me, which we all live in the same town, they had begged my adopted family to still keep me part of their family, and they do, so I usually spend a Thanksgiving with them. And my Aunt Patty, who only lives like 2 blocks away, she's single, on no children of her own, and I mean she's in her 60s, probably nearing 70s, and so we always do our best to include her so that she has family. Anyway, one of my oldest brother gifted her a card and some money, and it was so unexpected to her that she started to cry, and then we all started to cry, and so there's like, 20 people in the household crying over a card. I also, I didn't have to gift wrap any presents. It always makes me a little sad because one of my very first jobs, I was taught, I'm using these buckets today. Probably because I'm not paying attention. I'm just on robot mode cleaning. One of my first jobs that I worked for a candle company. It was a candle gifting company. They sold candles for, like, essentially gifting. You, of course, could buy them yourself, but it was like a gift store. And so they taught us, we had a 5-hour lesson in gift wrapping, like ways to gift wrap. And that always stuck with me, and so I loved gift wrap. And so I was really kind of bummed this year that I didn't get to show off my skills. Granted, all the people that are in our lives has pretty much already seen my gift wrapping, other than my sister-in-law, the one that has all the adopted and biological children. The adopted children haven't got to see my gift wrapping, so. But they didn't make it, so I guess I didn't miss out. My other cousin, I use decorative washi tape as some of the decorations on the presents, and one year I heavily taped his up because he mocked me for it the previous year with my washi tape, so I made sure to give him a special gift card present in a box wrapped in first duct tape, then washi tape, and then another layer of duct tape, and then more washi tape. He did not appreciate it. And I told him that no, he couldn't stab the box open because you never knew if he was going to stab his present. He was quite annoyed with me. What that? Anyway. Oh yeah, there was TNT in that, wasn't there? Oopsie. Again, the whole bot mode. So now that I chattered endlessly, this is one game where I think I chatter the most. How was your guys' Christmas? Tell me about it. If you don't. If it doesn't matter to you, I like to hear. I know I've said in a previous video, I'm very, I don't have much of a Christmas spirit. I think it's because I, in my younger years, worked so much retail. I've had some really, I imagine as anybody who has any time in retail, you get some stories to tell. And I will say, I do have a lot of crazy stories about some Karens and Trans and co-workers. I had some crazy co-workers too. I had one co-worker. So this is when I worked for the office shop. It had like a regular retail side to it, and then it had a print center, and I worked in the print center. And I usually worked nights. And they had hired this cashier, and it was notoriously quiet for the rest of the store at night. And there would only be a handful of customers, but the print center would always be extremely busy. But it was also a type of company that never wanted to have more than one print person work because that meant you had to pay people. And so it was usually just me, the cashier, and usually a manager of some sort. Someone that was a key carrier / manager. And it was quiet. I think it was like an off season. I don't think it was a holiday or anything, but I was busy in the print center. And I guess it's time to let your mind wander during that period of time for probably the cashiers. I mean, I know they have to be bored out of their ever-loving minds because there's nothing happening for them. And the store at the time, though I know that they changed the rules since my store closed, they didn't want the cashiers to wander very far, so they could straighten the area around their register. But they never could wander very far. If the customers ever needed help, they had to call on who's ever working the sales floor, or if print could, they would send print to go help them as well. But she, I don't know, she had a screw or two loose, poor thing. And at first, like, you couldn't tell that there was anything wrong, but as she only was with the company for maybe a week or so. And they really had hired her based on her availability and really didn't check anything else because she had open availability. And if anybody who works retail knows that's, like, best. And so they scheduled her pretty much every day that she worked that week. But she had some mental issues, and she would slap the counter and scream or do a loud exclamation of something. I remember the last night before they let her go, she was really quite disruptive. Something was really going in her head, and I kept asking her if it was okay, and she's like, yeah, it's fine. But we found notes in the trash can later after we closed the store, the manager and I. There was notes in the trash can about self-harm, so the managers had to do something. And I know that whole week there was signs, like we saw other things that were happening that let us know that something was wrong and that they were probably going to have to talk to her. But the store manager was really reluctant to because of her open availability. They're like, well, if she doesn't do it when the customers are there, we're fine. I was like, well, I don't know. But poor thing. I saw her just a little while ago. She was at another store, so hopefully she got on some medication. Seeked some help for that. Have I gotten anywhere in this whole time that I just rapidly talked your ear off? I don't know. Finish my coffee real quick. And we all know that means I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom soon. Oh my gosh. Apparently sleeping like, I don't know, 16 hours a day makes you really quite energized. I just realized, look, there's the tentacles out there. Is that in Athena 1? I don't think that was in Athena, the vanilla game. I thought it was pretty barren out there. I remember playing I can't think of the level's name, but the game that showed us those was our first level outside. It actually had the Minecraft Easter egg in it. Anyway, I remember the first time seeing those arm-like things and trying to figure out if it was organic or if it was metal. They're actually really close up. They look metal, right? From here? Yeah, they're metal. Where they are. Like, at first I thought they were like a alien tree root. Present. I hate those presents. Oh my god. Stop knocking over the buckets. That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? I didn't know that very well. Hey, little dude. Walk you down. I don't feel like putting you in the bucket and wasting the valuable space. I mean, it's closer to the fire, right? Oh, it's an arm. I was like, what? A baby arm. An elf arm. This level creator did tell us in the comments that they used a Skyrim elf generator, name generator, to get the name of the elf. Which I thought was pretty funny. I actually thought they were using the a generic name. There's so many elves that got caught up in this Santa shenanigans. Oh, 4Cans re-uploaded their maps in an all-in-one package. I guess I should probably speak on that. I probably will not play them. Only because that is such a big package to download, and then if he uninstalls them again or deletes them from the workshop, I am not going to get caught up in the mess of having a mod automatically uninstall on me while I'm in the process of playing and messing up my office. Even though the way that I do my office now, it doesn't matter if it gets messed up. It's easily reset. I just have to unlock the doors. Get rid of the garbage in the main room. I know I don't collect any collectibles or anything like that anymore. Whoops. Because collecting collectibles does not help me in any way. But yeah, I've played most of them. I went down the list and looked. I played most of them that I wanted to play. There is a few that originally I had plans on entering and showing them off and playing them for, like, I don't know, a few minutes just as an introduction to them. And then leaving, because they're the type of map that I don't like to play. They're either a mini game or so outrageously different. Like there's a neon city that it's like everything's been recolored and it's all this like bright light, and it's a bit of a platform jumper maze, and you can easily fall to your death. Those kinds of maps are not my favorite. I actually quite dislike them. Again, that's purely personal. I appreciate the effort and the thought process behind that went into making them, and the creativity, but I just don't like playing them in any way. I did have plans on going into every one of those types of maps and just showing them, like showcasing them, and then like doing a special that way. I don't know if I will, because again, that means I have to download. He has it an all-in-one file, and I have to download it. And if he deletes it again, I don't know what kind of trauma that will do to my saves. So, at this moment, no. But if you want to play it yourself, he did upload it. Also, a janitor has a few map updates too, and he's changed his name to a Grinch, I think is what it is, or maybe the Grinch, which I thought was pretty clever. But he has uploaded a few Cryo-G, or I think is what the map is called, was one of 4Cant's original maps, and originally 4Cant gave a janitor the maps to play and to update and do his own thing with, and then came back, and I don't know, there was some weirdness that happened. I guess I shouldn't speak of it because I don't know all the details, but so that Cryo-G is an updated map of one of 4Cant's, and I do plan on eventually going in that and taking a look, because a janitor always has a fun twist on those maps. So there is a few that he did get from 4Cant, but he didn't really, he updated it so they played better, but they didn't really get a physical change, or a gameplay change. So those I probably, if there was a few of those, I might not play those. Well, they're often exhausting maps. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how I feel. I think are coming into a bit of a dry period again of maps. This actually marks the last new one of our new map makers. So there may be a dry spell of Viscera, and then in that time I may change my mind and do all the maps. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I know in the gaming world, January, February, and March are going to be pretty quiet months, which I'm actually, between you and I, kind of looking forward to, because again, I have that long list of games that I desperately want to show you, share with you the experience of those games, whether I make them into a series of their own, or, an elf up there. I thought it was a, Ash. So sorry, Mr. Elf, I thought you were you to come off that. Thank you. Gravity. Even in this game. I do plan on doing those. And then whatever indie developers may reach out, of course, I will try to show their games as well. If the gameplay is good. Anything else that I need to tell you guys? Now that I talked a cajillion words a minute. I don't think so. Did I do any cleaning? No. No matter what, I'm gonna have to get a ladder, so I should stop. And now my Foxy's got a bullet hole in her. Poor Foxy. Oops. I might just start burning those presents, I'm not gonna lie. The only thing is to burn them, I have to take them down to the fireplace, and if I'm down to the fireplace, I might as well throw them the remainder of the way, so. And I'm not going to burn them with the lightsaber because the ceilings are quite high. There may be consequences that I don't want to pay for that. Sorry, dude. And got the boot. I don't know where it went though. I have a real life friend who plays this game. Hasn't played it now, but I introduced her to it, and she loves just picking up the bullet cases. It always makes me laugh because I'm not gonna lie, not every time, but most times when I'm picking up the bullet casing, especially when there's a lot, it makes me think of her. But I know she would hate all of the bullet holes. She hates firing the laser. Makes me kind of laugh. It is. going on in here? I don't actually remember. Awesome. Is I'm sorry, is might be able to no, the ceilings are really high. Mr. Claw's office. That piece of paper. It's a really good barrier. So I do hope for everyone's sake that Fourcat does leave the maps there. He has fantastic maps. For the most part. The ones like the Tiny Room series is awesome. So for him to just delete them that way, we've talked about it before, it's heartbreaking. and disappointing, I guess. Probably more disappointing for an average player that those good maps just poof. Okay, I think check in here again. There's a bathroom back here. Those metal pieces. Santa, what were you doing? So why is there a knife on that poor little else the throat? The voodoo doll. Oh, I thought I was gonna be really impressed and be like, did he somehow Christmas wrap this thing? I think. Well, maybe. I don't know. Doesn't this texturally look really weird? Has it always looked like this? I don't know. I don't know. Alright, let's get rid of this so we don't pay the price when we come back in. Anything that tends to be in a bin, especially if it's overflowing, it tends to fly up in the air when you come back. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. Thank you guys for letting me chatter away in your ear about all kinds of nothing. And I will be back again with another episode.